And now, Jabroni Studios, in association with Big Herm Productions, is proud to present to you, recording from an undisclosed location in Oakdale, Connecticut, it's Chris Burns, it's Chris Lynch, this is Dysfunction Junction.
Hi, everybody. We're
What's
missing
up?
somebody. We're missing somebody today. Howdy ho. Well, Mr. Burns has a family emergency down in Florida. We wish him well. I hope things, the turnout, I really don't get too far into detail, but he won't be here this week.
Positive thoughts, Mr. Burns.
Just positive thoughts and vibes. If anybody wants to know what's going on with him, we suggest you message him directly. Don't message me. Don't message Herm. He is open and willing to discuss whatever matter that he has at hand. But welcome to yet another episode of Dysfunction Junction.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. With me, as myself, Chris Lynch, over there, the producer extraordinaire.
Hello.
Mr. Michael P.S. Herman. And down below, right down there, we got Mr. Sausage Gravy, Matt Marsh.
Hello.
Lover of sandwiches. I'm Biden's ball sack, but vote sack 2024. But anyway, folks, we got a little bit of this, a little potpourri of things to talk about this evening. I don't know if you're looking at the title. It's Bridges, Bad Boys, Bibles, and Beggars. And we got them all here, folks. It's the B episode. It's the B quad, if you will.
Yo, it's like that Sesame Street song, the Big Bird B song.
Yeah.
Should begin with some brown bread, some busted baked beans, some boxes of bacon, and bits of blue jeans.
Bringing it back old school. Hey, Matt,
I had the whole Sesame Street alphabet, every letter.
I remember it was an LP. It was bright yellow. It had Big Bird on the cover. And I think it was Big Bird's alphabet.
Yes, and that's exactly what it was.
I played the shit out of that as a kid.
Yeah, I had the B song, C, D, E, the Would You Like to Buy an O? It had all of those songs.
I think
all of them. All the songs about a letter from the Sesame Street were on one record. Loved it.
I did not have that.
Yeah. What's funny is I liked Sesame Street growing up, but I didn't watch the Muppets as I got older.
I was the other way around.
So you started out with Muppets and didn't watch Sesame Street.
I mean, I don't know if it was just me, but it was almost like a Coke and Pepsi dynamic with a lot of people. I mean, I saw like Muppets fans or Sesame Street people, but I grew up with the Muppets. Sesame Street, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of like Jim Henson's work.
Yeah,
I think when he went out, when he stepped away from the Muppet brand and did like the Dark Crystal and shit like that. Dark Crystal fucked me up,
that's when
dude.
I stopped. That freaked me out.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
See, I liked to be scared when I was a kid.
I remember like the dark stuff.
I remember begging my mother and father to take me to see the first Alien, 1979. I'll do the math. I was born in 72. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I was 7 years old begging my parents.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, okay. Let's bring him. My mom's like, no. Nope. Dad said, nope. He wants to go to an adult movie. We'll bring him.
Yeah,
and the scene that made me jump out of my seat and crawl under my dad's chair was when they took the fire extinguisher to Ash's head, knocked it over, and all that white shit just starts goo and spurting out. I crawled right under my father's chair, and I fell in love with horror movies. That was my beginning of my obsession with horror movies. A lifelong obsession. Got me fucked up. I mean, that is pretty fucked up for a 7-year-old to be watching that kind of shit. But my dad's like, no, I ain't gonna stop him. He's gonna learn his own boundaries.
And look at you now.
I know, and apparently there are no boundaries. I'm a limitless motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch anything horror. If it's really bad, it's still good. Because I get me some blood and guts.
I didn't even stuff like The Secret of Nim and things like that. And I was kind of like leery of, and stuff like Watership Down. Forget it. I don't want nothing to do with that.
Watership Down was more of a mindfuck for me than Alien or all that other stuff was, because it was right from the rip. It was shit's not. People are rabbits are dying, man. That fucked me up hardcore, and because they showed that to us in elementary school. That was like required viewing in like second or third grade. That was crazy. And you go back and look.
I thought it was a great movie.
Well, I
I
know
will
you.
look-
Well, you read the
look-
books too, didn't you, Herm?
Yeah, it was. I kind of considered it a comedy.
Surprise.
Wait, this is the look of
I thought
shock.
that was-
Wait, there it goes.
I thought that was a comedy. There's some funny shit in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you like blood, guts, and gore.
You know.
Just wasn't my scene.
Yeah, that Ladyship Down movie, that was just basically just watch an animated version of Little Bunny Foo-Foo. He was hopping through the forest getting smoked. That's all it was.
Little bunny foo, I don't want to see you. Oh my god. Oh, the shit that's trapped in this brain pan here. But I don't know. Anyway, how about that Baltimore Bridge?
Well, we touched on that last week.
A little bit. Coming forward from what we talked about last week, it happened. They lost power twice. They tried to correct that vessel, and once you get that much mass moving in a certain direction, it is impossible to get out of.
Yeah, but I got problems, bro. I got big fucking problems knowing what I know about how maritime works. Okay.
So we're going to get into that in just a second.
Big fucking problems.
So there are people out there in the world, the tinfoil wearing conspiracy theorists, saying that they did it on purpose. I can't say yes or no. I can't say they're right or wrong. You can believe what you want to believe. Now, I'm sure Herm's going to touch on a little bit about, and I think I know where he's going since he mentioned maritime, where this is going to go. They have since found 2 of the bodies that were confirmed to be out of the 6 construction workers or the city workers that were on the bridge at the time.
Oh, they found the last 2 that were in the water?
I think so, yeah.
I know yesterday evening they were still trying to find those last 2.
So begs me the question: they stopped traffic just in time based upon the Mayday call. Why the fuck didn't those guys get in that fucking pickup truck and just jam it in reverse?
That's a good question.
I mean, because they had plenty of time. Because according to what I've read, again, and the video quality is good for what it is, but you do see cars, the last 2 cars just crossing before the boat hits hits the pylon, and then the bridge collapses. You can see the truck over here flashing lights. Everybody knew something was going on and said stop traffic on the bridge based upon the Mayday calls. Why didn't those poor city workers get the fuck out of there?
I don't know.
So what's your spin here, Herm?
Well, there's a couple of issues. As we all know, just like a plane, a ship like that carries a VDR, not a voice data recorder, not a cockpit data recorder, or a cockpit voice recorder, but this is a VDR. This is a voyage data recorder. It's one box that does the job of all of it. It records all communications within the ship and to ship to shore. It also monitors, and just like a plane with the data recorder, monitors and records everything that happens on the ship. Any input to controls, all the parameters, levels of power, levels of torque, speed, propeller speed, was the shaft turning, all of that shit like it does on a plane, you know what I mean? And it checks every fucking system and it records it. There's a problem is and these machines have a backup battery and they have a backup power supply. All right. They are hardwired in with a backup power supply. There is 1 minute and 6 seconds of missing data prior to the bridge being hit.
So, yeah, that does raise a red flag, because if you say that it's normally powered by ship power with a battery backup, was the battery backup actually functional?
Right. I mean, the power source doesn't actually. That's the whole point. Is there's a power backup. That system should never there's not a button to turn it off.
It should never lose.
There isn't. There's not like a switch, and they can just turn it off.
Yeah, it's not like a generator where you have to physically turn it on and off. It's continuous backup.
There's a minute and a half of missing data. Now, the captain has been called for a steering to the right. The captain ordered the port side anchor. Now, I don't know if anybody knows how boats work, but port has 4 letters in it, and left has 2 letters in it. And everything when you're done on a ship is done facing the bow of the boat.
Mm-hmm.
So port is the left side of the ship when you stand facing the front. 4 letters, easy to remember. Port. Starboard is what's not left, or what's not right, rather.
Right.
It's the left, or the right. I'm fucking myself up. But here's the thing: the officer drops it to port. He drops the port anchor on the left-hand side of the boat. Okay. Now, anybody who's run a boat knows that when you drop anchor on the left-hand side of the boat, what direction does the boat turn when it hits and starts dragging?
Gonna go to the right.
Opposite direction.
The boat actually lists to the left, and you actually what will happen as it slows, and because inertia, what happens is the back end of the boat is what swings to the other side.
Right. The back end should swing opposite from what
he drops the anchor on the left-hand side of the ship.
That's what I'm saying. It's going right.
The back end of the ship should go right. The front of the ship should be dragged and veer to the left.
Right.
So he dropped left anchor. He ordered a full port turn, and yet the front of the ship drifted to the right and turns. You can see it. Speed the video up. Play the video at double speed, and you can literally watch it just turn. It doesn't look like it's drifting. I want to know how the physics of that work, because if you drop the anchor on that side, it drags to that side. The ass end wants to turn to the other side. So I have some problems with some of the physics and the missing minute and 6 seconds, minute and 5 seconds of missing data on a device that doesn't go out. They've never had one do that ever in the history of ever.
That is very interesting.
It's not the first ship to lose all power.
No, and I didn't know about the missing chunk of time missing from the telemetry. Well, I know it is a telemetry device, and telemetry is every move you make. Like Herm said, it is throttle
telemetry device, and
throttle, thrust, GPS position relative to where you are in your little space. It gives you everything. So, and it records the GPS.
Right. Telemetry adds the addition of some sort of visual input that goes with all of that info. The telemetry would be the printout, and you could see it.
You could take that. You could take the telemetry data from anything that records in that fashion,
right? Plug it into a simulator and make it do exactly the same.
And visually recreate the event in a simulator. So that's why the black boxes, when they were black boxes on aircraft, were upgraded whenever the fuck they upgraded them to include telemetry as opposed to just voice and data input. They take all that information out of the black box, they put it in a computer simulator, and it'll show you exactly what happened from the time of failure to the time of crash. They did it with the planes in 9/11, except for the one I believe that hit the White House up at the Pentagon. That's always been a little bit of a conspiracy thing there.
On there.
Yeah, there's a lot missing from that particular plane hit.
Yes, but those machines don't do well in extreme high heat.
Correct.
So take a good amount of heat, but they're not designed for things that will melt like things that are that high, that hot.
But yeah, the missing data is an interesting new fact to me. Um, how they're going to come up with an explanation for that is going to be have to be very creative because like we've both stated already, it's a continuous battery backup. It should never lose communication with the lock.
It's a I don't want to say infallible, but it's designed with
Several fail-safe measures.
Yeah, there's the contingency plan has a contingency plan. So how or if anybody answers for that. Now I did see something today that the crew or something about the ship from Singapore was hit with, like, I don't know if it has been hit because of this or has been hit total, but like 1,800 separate maritime violations.
No.
It's a very large number. I didn't get into the article. I just kind of saw a headline and kept going. So I haven't gotten that deep and I can't speak on it really, but that was the headline, that something to do with that boat and the crew and a ginormous amount of maritime issues.
Wow. No, it should be interesting to see how this all unfolds in the next upcoming months. Tragedy, no matter what, how you slice it.
Well, I mean, is anybody waiting on a package yet?
Okay, so I got an email this morning at work.
Because there's boats sitting out there at the mouth of the fucking river waiting to come in and out.
I got an email this morning from a vendor that's saying, "Hey, due to the incident that happened in Baltimore, your shit's still floating out in the sea. It's waiting, and we're waiting for instructions whether to divert it to a different port. Here's the problem: the boat that it's on is the same size as the boat that crashed. So that is, I think that is the second largest marine port on the planet that handles incoming raw material and import export stuff. So I have safety equipment sitting on a container ship somewhere out in the middle of the fucking ocean waiting a delivery that's already been delayed.
Yeah, it's like
months.
New York. It's like New York Harbor, bro. It's
yeah. Holy shit. So I made a joke about it the other day. Joke about it the other day. I posted a meme of the back of the boat in a shipping container and it says, "My back ordered part." Karma comes knocking. My back ordered parts are sitting on a fucking boat somewhere out there in the Atlantic Ocean, awaiting to be delivered. A way to be delivered. What do you think, Matt? Do you think there's going to be any? Who's going to sue who is a good question too.
Well, that's always going to be the liability issues. I mean, they're going to have to sift through all this stuff. I mean, I have no idea.
I mean,
go ahead.
Wasn't it a local crew? Because local crews have to board the boat to steer it into the port, correct?
No. It has to be the pilot. Just
right. When I say crew, I mean
the entire crew does exactly their own job.
Right.
There's a pilot that literally gets them out of port and past that bridge.
Right.
And then they exit the boat, and that's it.
And they have a tender pick them up and they bring them back to port. Gotcha.
Right. Right. So it's a local captain. I'm not thinking the problem is the captain. I'm just because it's a local dude. So for me, the fact that it's a local pilot and they have to have rated levels of experience to move those ships, even start the engines.
Yeah.
And to detach from dock. So you've got a schooled pilot. So with a schooled pilot, the lack of the 105 missing info and the weird physics shit is what I think it speaks more than it would if it was just fucking some team from Singapore trying to make it out of port.
Especially if it was a local crew and captain, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's literally just a local pilot. There's one pilot, so it's the same captain. It's literally just the pilot. It's literally you have to have a local driver. Everybody else on the boat can be wherever you're from and normal, but the pilot from local has to get you out of port.
Oh, this ought to prove interesting. Like I said, who's going to sue who? Who's going to be liable? What's this guy's track record? I mean, from what you're saying to me, based upon the evidence with the multiple maritime issues with that particular boat, is it malfunction where the controls fucked up? What? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of variables. I mean, Matt, how much time have you ever spent on a boat? Were you a maritime guy when you were younger? Did you do a lot of boating?
Oh God, my parents owned a marina. I got my boating license when I was 12.
No shit. What marina was it?
Oh, it was down outside the north gate of the sub base. Closed down in '90.
Okay, my dad probably knew your parents then because we were very heavy into boats when I was a kid.
Yeah, between that and then I operated a pump out boat on the Mystic River and the Thames River for the last. Well, I've been out of it about 3 years now, but
oh, cool.
I operated prior to that for about 7.
That's awesome. So you got some skills on the water.
Oh yeah, I could pump a sewage tank like nobody's business.
Fuck yeah, shit sucker! Here I come. Sign up.
That's a good gig.
It sounds like it would be a good gig. Yeah. Well, my heart still goes out to everybody involved in that. That sucks. 6 ways to Sunday, and then no matter how you slice it.
I mean, because they had asked for tug assistance.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They had asked for tug assistance.
Now, were there tenders on the water as they were maneuvering out? Were there already tenders like around the boat? Because I know once they get them out of, like you said, once you get them out of port, past the bridge, those local guys go in a tender and go zip on back.
Yeah, I don't know if they had tenders or not.
I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research on this tonight, tomorrow.
I know that they had called for tug assistance.
I mean, is the port, does it have a notorious current or anything? I mean, I don't know how tricky it is under normal conditions.
No, I haven't never been on the water down in that part of the planet. I don't know. I've never been outside of Baltimore.
No, it's just there's you have to run the channel right.
Well, yeah,
because because of the way it's cut and the way it bottoms out, and that's all it is, and that's why they use local pilots to bring ships in and out, because of the way you have to run that channel. But there was no issue with the channel. Nobody hit the bottom.
No.
There's just some weird shit, and then it just slammed into the fucking bridge. And that pylon is not designed to take that amount of weight and mass.
No.
Regardless of speed, it.
And the sad thing to say is that bridge did its job when it started to fall apart. It fell apart all at once.
Did you guys go ahead?
No, go ahead, Matt.
Did you guys hear the prospective time frame of rebuilding the bridge?
No, I haven't.
We're talking. It's a decade.
Yeah,
it's a decade. It's 10 years
or more. They were talking 10 to 12 last night.
And that's using federal money and the Department of Transportation, United States, assisting Army Corps of Engineers, all assisting and pushing that project. That project took 10 years to begin. It's gonna they have to remove everything.
Now, was that bridge?
They have to remove every pylon down to the bottom of the fucking channel.
Yeah, they had to do core samples and everything else.
Hit it.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Was that a main artery for traffic? I mean,
695.
Well, I know it was a main, but what are the next closest routes in? I mean, is this going to divert people's jobs by like 2 hours or more a day? Or
yeah, I mean, it's one of the 6. It's one of the arteries. It's like 395, 295 for us. It's fucking.
Yeah, because I know when we've traveled down through there, we always avoided that. We always avoided that bridge because of the traffic. So you got to just having gone down through there to go to Virginia and in the Carolinas and Florida one time, I was always told always avoid that bridge because it's a fucking nightmare with traffic. So I would assume that it's a heavily trafficked road. Like if you think like 395, there's other ways to get to where you need to be other than 395.
Right.
It's it's more back roadish.
I'm just thinking, like, because when Gold Stars had problems over the years and you had to divert out to the Mohegan Pequot, I mean, that'll add half hour, 45 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if somebody's commuting to work over this thing every day, what's the next closest? I mean,
Well, I mean, you're either going to have to take the problem. The hassle is instead of going around the city now, you're going to have
go
to through it.
Right.
695 is one giant fucking loop that runs around the city,
right,
instead of through it.
So it's going to wreak havoc with inner city
so
traffic.
You either can come down and run right up and right up to the water where the bridge is, but then you have to backtrack all the way around Baltimore or come through and jump on 95 and take 95 across, but you've got to backtrack. So you're putting way more traffic through areas that weren't designed to handle that traffic either, because that bridge was put in for easy access and to lessen traffic.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fucking mess.
Yeah, because 695 literally runs around it like a donut. You come down 95 and then you can literally take, if you don't get off 695, you just go around Baltimore for an hour and a half. And then you can either stay on the loop or go off. It's literally one of the go arounds, like 495 is up in Hartford and shit, New Haven, all those that go around.
Mm.
You know, it's one of the arteries off of 95.
Sucks, man. Sucks. Decade. Wow, that's good. Imagine the fucking price tag, man. That's even with the Army Corps of Engineers helping it, it's not gonna be an easy task. I don't wish that on anybody.
No, and I mean, you get federal money to bridge it to do it, and the federal money will push the project faster.
Right.
Federal money greases wheels a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
Government will just say "fucking do it," and that'll be the end of it.
Right.
Because it actually is the issue with the bridge being fucked up screws up. It's a major impact to economy with the lack of movement and goods through that that port.
Yeah,
and I mean, I guess the glass, you can't even really say half full on this, is with the state of bridges all around the country. You know, we've been reading about it for the last 15 years or more. I mean, now they're getting a new bridge.
Yeah, but the fucked up thing is there was nothing wrong with that bridge. And that's the problem. They're getting a new bridge, but they didn't need it. There's way other.
That wasn't one of the ones on the list?
It's not one of the bridges on the list. The bridge was perfectly fine. It was way advanced for its time when it was built.
When was it built?
Key Bridge.
Yeah, I know there's several, like the one they're rebuilding in Rhode Island. Rhode Island just said that any car that travels through the highway past a gantry point for Easy Pass is going to pay $1, even if you're just using it traveling. You're gonna any car is going to get charged $1.
Oh.
Which, you know what?
I don't have a problem with that.
I don't either, because it's going to help pay for the bridge project, which is a pain in the ass already. And there's so many other bridges in this state that are in such actually not even the state, the countrywide, across the whole country, are in serious disrepair. Bridges are an expensive outlay of money, and even more expensive is the maintenance, because you pay crews of guys, I mean cranes and all the safety equipment for weeks and weeks and weeks and months to just fix one tiny little 10-foot span of bridge.
Mm-hmm.
We had a little bridge reconstruction that happened right down the road for me off of Old Colchester Road. It took 3 years for them to for a little 60-foot piece of road. 3 years and a lot of money, and we got a grant from the state to fix the problem, and it didn't fix the problem.
Well, that's if they
The
do it
water,
right.
the water still collects at the bottom of the little slope, and in the wintertime you sail right through the stop sign if you're going too fast because it ices up quickly in the winter, and it's right across the street from the fucking Montville High School. How there hasn't been more accidents there, I'm amazed. There was another accident on Route 32, opposite direction of me. When I was on my way home tonight, there is at least one accident there that I go past that I witness either in the morning or in the afternoon on my way to and from work. Route 32 is one of the worst routes in Connecticut because people fly down the fucking thing and they don't pay attention.
That bridge was started construction in 1972, and it opened March 23rd, 1977.
So it was a
5
couple
years.
Yeah, it was a couple years after the Gold Star opened. I remember as a real little kid there only being one bridge.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it was. Yes.
And I remember what a big deal it was to have the second bridge. You know, the twin bridges now. Yeah, it's just weird, but there's but yeah, bridges are expensive, man. Expensive to maintain, expensive to fix, expensive to build, and it's just one of those things it's overlooked. And there's been a couple of documentaries I've watched over the years where they just turn a blind eye and say, "We'll fix it when it's a problem." That's a great attitude to have. Need I remind you of the Mianus River Bridge here in Connecticut back in 85, 86 that collapsed. It was one of those bridges that was on a list for repair, and it was just overlooked for 20 years. And that bridge was built in the fucking 40s. So just imagine all these other little municipalities around the country that just don't have the money for the repair. You know, how much of a risk are you taking driving over that bridge every fucking day? I mean, that's why they detonated and dropped the old Tappan Zee Bridge right into the fucking river.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Yeah, did you watch that as it happened?
I watched parts of it. I didn't.
It was really cool. It was really fucking cool. But anyway, enough about bridges. What do we got for bad boys, Herm?
Motherfucking Diddy, the diddler.
P. Diddler. Diddler.
Apparently, everybody been right this whole time.
I'm telling you, man. Watch that Cat Williams interview with Joe Rogan.
Cat Williams interview, and you know, my only goal was to get to where I am and still have a virgin asshole. Yeah, I mean,
it's a solid goal.
Yeah, well, I mean,
very solid.
Apparently, there's people been talking and not caring, but no, they raided. They raided 2 of Diddy's properties. And they also forced his jet to land. All right. When they showed up, Diddy wasn't there, but his whole family was. He wasn't at the second house. And when they forced his plane to the ground, Diddy wasn't on that plane either. And nobody's seen this motherfucker since.
So
he's in the wind?
And he's in the wind. And everybody, and they don't raid your house like that to the way that they did it, to go in and search for stuff.
They already know it's there.
They went into that house the way you watch how they went into his house. They went in specifically knowing exactly what they were looking for and where they were going.
I am completely out of the loop on this. I don't even know what the hell happened. I just saw his name in the news.
All right, so
go ahead.
The timing was very, very impeccable. Right after the Dan Schneider documentary dropped about Nickelodeon and all the improprieties there.
I'm vaguely familiar with it. Yep.
After the buzz about that died down, within a week of the timing of the release of that, 6-7 days later, Diddy, 2 of his 3 homes were raided. His 3rd home is an abandoned mansion somewhere in Georgia.
The timing is close. They're not connected.
No, but I'm just saying the timing.
Is there's a girl that's brought case against Diddy
Yes.
in civil court. Okay. There was no criminal case against Diddy. Oh, there is now.
There
I'm
is now, yeah.
But there was a civil case that the girl was trying to say she was sexually assaulted, forced to do this or that for in exchange for, come on, it's your it's your album. It's about your music. And basically, from what I gather, they were in the process of going through this civil case. Some other people came forward when they started talking to people. And basically they determined through the civil case that a bunch of this shit's kind of illegal.
Yeah. So
And
based upon
there's
that information, they
based on that information, knowing what they were looking for.
So what were they looking for?
They were looking for
there's a
computers, hard drives.
So
So was it like a porn ring or
no?
The accusations are sex
no. The accusation is that Diddy's gay as fuck, and in order to make your shit happen, he doesn't care if it's man or woman. Diddy's basically like the Jeffrey Epstein of fucking, or well, not the other one. Was it Epstein?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was Epstein with but only in the rap game.
Yeah. So basically what happened, Matt, is based upon this girl's testimony and her recalling of what she saw and described to a T, laptops, digital cameras,
we're
video cameras,
having sex with other men. There's all kinds of accusations that forcible sex on females, on males.
Okay. Well, yeah.
That's what I'm
trying to figure out. I'm like, it's not a crime to be gay.
Like, it's the producer and the artist. So somebody is in a position of power, and that's where it's all. That's all.
It's like a Weinstein sort of freaking
kind of same thing.
Casting couch kind of thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So based upon that information, they had descriptions of where in the house these alleged incidents took place, instruments used in those alleged incidents, who was there during these incidents.
Yeah, like the civil case has opened up a whole bunch of shit, and so somebody went to the authorities with like, yo, there's some shit going on, and they've obviously got a case. So we're waiting to see, because we're waiting. What we're waiting for now is to find Diddy.
See, this is usually the opposite way of things happen. Like, look at O.J. Simpson. During his criminal trial, he was found not guilty. However, based upon that evidence that was presented in the criminal trial, he lost the civil suit.
Well, civil isn't.
It's a whole different thing.
Civil isn't necessarily isn't involving a crime. You don't have to commit a crime.
No, but based upon information from that trial, they had a case for civil.
Proven guilty situation.
Correct. So
it's fucking bizarre.
So this case, through the civil suit, they found crimes that happened, applied for warrants, got testimony from witnesses and this one girl, and all this shit, all hell breaks loose, and 2 out of his 3 homes were raided, and shit was confiscated. His drug mule, his alleged drug mule, that's another thing he's being accused of, as being a trafficker of not only drugs but human trafficking.
Yeah, and everybody that was named and brought about, and like, is everybody being quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Well, the girls, well, you have to look. The girls are females, and there's no shame. There is a lot of shame there's the shame in the male community.
Not just the male community.
Oh no, wait. There's a lot of shame if that happens in the male community in general.
That's true.
Okay. The difference is that the level of shame felt and applied to somebody within the black community like that.
That's where I was going.
I know you were, and I just wanted to make sure that I was putting it out there that within the male community, there's shame if that happens. Within the black community,
it's like ostracized.
A heavier form of shame. Yeah. From what I've I've spoken to people in the black community and that I know
Yeah.
in regards to it. But yeah, there's a big level of shame. So it was on the DL, and now it's all going to come out in the open at some point to some degree. So there's there's some people who are going to have some fucked up lives for a while, dealing with some shit.
I
That
mean, as far like today, I read that Ashton Kutcher is like trying to crawl to the woodwork, so he's not anywhere near this whole case because like they were very good friends at some point, and you know what? It would not surprise me if that came out.
Butcher's
about
notorious
Ashton
for putting
Kutcher.
his foot in his mouth over stuff.
Yeah,
he is.
and his,
However,
and his wife is no better.
well,
No, absolutely
yeah,
not.
but they also are at a stage where it doesn't really matter. They're okay
No.
with it. But I guess what I'm saying is that I have no problem and see no reason why Ashton wouldn't say something stupid about this. But I don't think Ashton's into that shit.
No. I
You
don't
know what I
think he's
mean? But
into
I
it.
can
He's
totally
just
understand why anybody who's had anything to do with him is all of a sudden
right.
not
Gun shy.
you know,
Yeah. Don't know you.
You know, what is it? Uber Eats. He's been the spokesman for.
Yeah.
The he's been doing all the ads for Uber Eats.
I don't even know what the fuck he does.
Nothing now.
Well, he's producer.
He used to be a music guy or something, wasn't
He's
he?
still a producer. He's a producer.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. He still has artists under the Bad Boy label. He's a producer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, a rap music mogul. Call it whatever you want, but
no, I like it. It's just it's outside of my realm.
Yeah, it's outside my realm too. But when shit like this starts happening, I was like, "What the fuck? I better read up on this because it's things are getting spicy around here." Yeah, I not shocked. To be completely honest with you, I'm not shocked. I mean, he's had run-ins with the law in the past about guns and domestic violence. I mean, and honestly, not even just because it's P. Diddy, it wouldn't shock me if anybody in Hollywood nowadays was drawn up on these kind of charges because it's rampant, and everyone turns a blind eye. I mean, all these what happened to the list of people that went to Epstein Island? What's ever going to happen to those people? Nothing.
I didn't, like I said, I didn't follow that. I still hear rumblings of the name, but it's just.
I mean, Hollywood and their people in Hollywood have painted themselves into the space of they're untouchable. Because they have money, they can hire good lawyers, and good lawyers will take any angle to tear up a case. But when you have physical evidence and video evidence, it's going to prove interesting for them to try to blow up. And there's no way it's an indefensible act, no matter what you slice it.
It's not just legal. I mean, money goes a long way towards anything. I mean, money will cure AIDS. I mean, look at Magic Johnson.
Exactly. He's lasted out 30 years with HIV.
Yeah, with like no hint of anything in his.
Yeah, but there's richer people that have there's richer people that have had AIDS. I'm just saying, there's people that are way richer that have had AIDS.
It's full-blown AIDS, motherfucker. Not that half AIDS, not that HIV.
The
HIV. Yeah, but anyway, we're talking about bad boys, all about bad girls. Little Miss Sunshine there.
No, not this again.
With not only did she get off of social media, or was advised to get off of social media.
She got
they're getting a divorce now.
They're getting divorced. She filed for divorce.
Yeah.
And someone I don't remember who said it was just a way to make her look good to get out of prison. That was you, yeah.
That was just that marriage was strictly for the parole.
For parole.
Yeah. So things are going to get even spicier with her and more interesting now that she's back on the market, so to speak.
Oh yeah, she'll find some fucking simp.
Oh, there's got to be somebody with a tooth out there who would just grovel at her feet and enjoy every moment of time that he spends with or she spends with her.
I'm sure there's thousands of people living in trailer parks right now that would die for her.
Wilma, you can change the population sign from 51 to 50. Junior's done moving.
Real. I mean, I'm sure there's people living in an Alabama trailer park that think she is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
I mean, with certain Instagram filters, she looks a little human.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to fuck you.
She looks like a shrew.
A shrew.
She looks like
she looks like one of the rats from Rats and Mrs. Nim.
We're not talking like shrew the slang. We're talking shrew the actual critter.
Yeah, the actual critter shrew. She reminds me of is that fucking sloth from Ice Age. Sid? Is that his name? Sid?
I didn't see it.
I choose life.
It's cute. It's cute. I saw it when it first came out because I had, nieces and nephews of that age, and I thought it's actually.
I watched a lot
funny.
of that stuff. I just, like I said, I missed that, and
a lot of that shit I miss. I'll watch it, and then like 15 years later, when those kids are grown up, it'll come on. Hey, Uncle Chris, remember watching that with me? I'm like, I have no fucking idea what I'm watching. No, you watched it with me. It must have been bad because I don't have zero memory of it.
I can sit down now and watch an episode of Mr. Rogers, and I'm like, huh.
That was another staple in my house, Mr. Rogers.
I didn't like it as a kid, but as I got older, I'm like watching it. I was like, it's some of the little lessons here. I mean, you taught kids how to cope with stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a good segue into my next little piece here.
Well, hold on.
Oh.
Lady Elaine was fucked up.
How so?
Look. I don't know.
Because her uncle was a puppet.
Dude, look, I'm just gonna say, like, for the time, Lady Elaine was really, really tough. I mean, she lived in that spinny fucking museum. She had a short butch haircut. She was definitely a bull dyke.
I don't think she was. I put her bio up years ago.
She's definitely a lesbian.
If she was closeted.
She owns an art gallery. She dresses all in black with turtlenecks. This is short fucking hack haircut. Come on, dude. That's a dude.
What was her name?
Lady Elaine.
Lady Elaine
Fairchild, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she was the niece of King Friday.
That was the other one. Who was in the museum that spun? Jesus Christ!
I don't know. Lady Elaine was the niece of King Friday the 13th.
That's Lady Elaine.
Oh, right? You know what? You're right.
That's Lady Elaine.
Oh, Lady Elaine the puppet. She was fucking terrifying.
That's what I'm saying. She looked definitely
like Phyllis Diller.
Dude, she was definitely but with a bull dyke haircut.
Okay, yeah, totally.
Lady Elaine.
What the fuck am I thinking of?
Lady Elaine was a bull dyke lesbian.
I knew it from
chick? 5 years old.
Yeah, what's the human chick's name that was always there?
Oh, Jesus! She always talked to Daniel Tiger.
Yes, she had the atypical 70s haircut, kind of like a woman's bowl cut.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm totally see where you're going with the lesbian thing on the other one. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, like
it was like the Wicked Witch.
She was
creepy. Even as a kid, I was like, this puppet is creepy as hell.
That fucked me up more than the fucking Muppets or any Dark Crystal did.
Lady Aberlin.
Lady Aberlin.
It just hit me.
Yeah, Lady Aberlin. That's actually her last name.
Yeah.
Aberlin. Mr. McFeely.
That's an unfortunate name.
Yeah, McFeely.
Speedy Delivery. Speedy Delivery. But yeah, it was but yeah, then you had you had Daniel Tiger, you had Lady Elaine.
Oh yeah, man.
You had the King and the Queen. Lady Elaine just scared.
Lady Elaine's creepy as fuck.
Scared the hell out of me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I ain't either. She creeped me out. I did not enjoy that puppet.
I think she was supposed to portray Satan in Mr. Fred Rogers' pastoral.
I don't know. No, she was
pastoral messages that he used to convey through the show.
No, she had good. She had good messages.
Yeah, she didn't do evil stuff.
No,
She just looked evil.
She was just creepy as fuck.
She's just
Yeah,
creepy as fuck.
She just looked evil. Like she fell down the fucking ugly tree and hit every goddamn branch on the way down.
Yeah, she was. That was the one creepy fucking puck. But
Hey, Terry.
Terry, what's going on? Are you holding a Winnie the Pooh in that photo? That was a big poo.
well, speaking
Not
of
like
poop, have you watched those newer movies? What they did to that freaking
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and
Holy
Honey.
shit!
And
They're
guess
doing
what?
a sequel.
It's already out.
The sequel is?
I love
it's
it.
already out.
I think it's
I
beautiful.
thought the-
It's magic.
Of course you
I
do.
thought.
Well,
thought the
no,
fir-
you have to understand. You have to
Winnie the-
understand why.
Okay.
It's
I'm
the same.
sure-
Go ahead, Lynch.
No. So anyway, real quick, Herm. That has created what they're calling the Pooniverse. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, Pinocchio's next. Then it's all Disney properties that all their copyrights have since slipped away into the ether.
Yes.
So they're going to make a whole series and call it the Pooniverse, where there's an ultimate team up at the end, just like the Avengers.
It is.
Universe sounds like German Shizer porn.
It does, but I
it-
think it's funny as fuck.
that's why I like it. Is because there's nothing anybody can do about it. There's nothing Disney can do about it.
Right. It's going to
the
cause
same
chaos.
thing. Look, I watched John Oliver religiously. Steamboat Willie last year, his copyright ran out. Okay, so as long as you don't basically say this is Disney's, and there's a couple of little tiny rules to get around it. You can't use the image to claim that you're associated with Disney or something like that.
Right.
But John Oliver has this season now. There is his staff has drawn a Steamboat Willie animation, and it's part of his open now. Just as a big fuck you, because he ran an episode and used it and did some shit last year. And basically he came on the air and one show and he was like, look, I ran the show, and as much as the lawyers fucking hate it, they can't tell me that I can't do it. So the lawyers didn't say not to. So his whole thing this year is to incorporate that Disney Steamboat Willie original likeness into everything he can on the show, just as a big fuck you to Disney.
Well, I think
it's brilliant, and that's literally what the Winnie the Pooh is. You lost your rights. I can do anything I want to now, as long as I don't claim it's a Disney movie.
Now, how did they lose the rights? Just the time?
Because 65 years after it's done, a property runs out.
Right. And you can't reapply for a copyright. Once the copyright is expired, it becomes what they call fair use.
For that. For music, copyright law is a little different.
Well, for movies, I thought if you didn't put so many projects out within a given period of time, it also fell by the wayside.
That is contractual.
Right.
When let's say I want to approach Marvel Comics and pick a fifth tier comic book character that nobody's ever heard of, and I say I want to make the movie based upon this shitty character. I want to buy the rights to make that film.
Right.
In the contract, there is
in exchange for the free use of this to these characters to make the movie, you have to guarantee 3 movies,
and it has to be done in a 12-year time span.
Within X number of years, I
know there's different
once those rights expire in a contract, it reverts back to the copyright holder, and then everybody else has a crack at taking that.
Because that was how the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie, freaking the horrid thing from 1991 got made.
Only reason they did it was so they didn't lose the rights.
I know.
And then I'm talking to the audience. Roger Corman back in the 80s made Fantastic Four that was absolutely horrible. You can find it on YouTube. Watch it. It's so bad it's great.
Dude, they had Michael Chiklis in it. It was great.
No.
Not that one.
Was the 2000
one before.
Stuff. This was back in the freaking right around the same time they made.
Oh, the one with Jessica Alba.
No.
This is going back to 1989.
This had Jay Underwood and freaking. It's on YouTube. It's dreadful.
It's so bad it's great.
It's like a home movie. It looked like something that Bruce Campbell made on 8mm.
Yeah, I will say though, I love those old movies that Sam Raimi and him shot.
Yeah.
Um, I will say though, The Thing, for its
Oh, the
time
thing
and how
looked
cheap,
good.
looked fucking fantastic.
But like Doctor Doom and even
Doctor Doom with
the Mr.
the
Fantastic effects. Oh god.
yeah, it was horrible. But yeah, so not very often do studios let that kind of shit lapse. So
No.
they'll crank out a shitty movie like they did.
Well, they did that with a 91 Captain America too.
Yep, yep, just to do it with what's his name Salinger there. That was
It was Matt Salinger, Scott
Matt
Paul
Salinger.
played an Italian Red Skull.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. It was
that's J.D. Salinger's grandson, isn't it? Matt
Matt,
Salinger.
yes. That
Yeah,
was
it's
his
his
son.
grandson. Son.
It was his son.
Anyway, fun fact, kids. That guy who started in that 1991 Captain America movie was J.D. Salinger's son.
Not to
Fun
be
fact.
confused with Meredith Salinger, who
Who
was
was
no
fucking
relation, but oh
hot.
my god.
She was one of my Spank Mac
Yeah. Well,
go-tos.
all of us. You know who she's married to now, right?
No.
Patton Oswalt.
Are you fucking kidding me?
They've been married for freaking 5-6 years.
Yeah, because his wife died. His
Yeah.
first wife died a number of years ago.
Yep.
Very sad
Unexpectedly.
story. Very sad story. And
Yep.
he turned it into his comedy routine as therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like his political stance.
No, I
but
like
I
his
think
comedy, but he can't keep his politics out of it.
yeah, and
A lot of them
when
can't.
he does a set that's minus his politics, I think
Yeah, he's a sharp dude.
He's brilliant. He's very smart.
I just don't like all the stuff.
Yeah. I like my comics right down the middle. Make fun of everybody. Don't give a fuck.
That's why I like Lewis Black. He didn't give a shit. He was just
Lewis Black was one of my idols growing up, and I wished I had gone to that show. I really do. But anyway, so talking about Fred Rogers, and for people who don't know anything about Fred Rogers, is that he was a very religious man, very Christian, and every episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood is a learning opportunity for children who are at that age where they're forming their worldview. He would use the Bible as his inspiration. So speaking of Bibles, this Easter Sunday, my wife and I were invited to
nice segue.
A woman's house. See, that's why I said this is a good spot for my Bible. We were invited to a woman's house. Now, this woman is Megan's massage therapist. They've become friends.
Go on.
Go on. You're like a puppy dog. They've
And
become friends. And then they've become friends over the course of the last 5-6 years, however long they've been going. They used to go exercising together, walking, and we went there for Christmas. Now, she's a very, very religious person. And fine, whatever.
You said she's Cape Verdean?
I thought she was. She isn't. She looks like, but her and her daughters are some of the most beautiful women I've ever seen on the planet. Beautiful. But anyway, she's very religious, and I walk. We're carrying all our gimmicks that we brought for the party. The Easter dinner, and I walk in. I see what I thought was like a talk show on the television. It's a church, and we got there at 2:00. She wanted us there at 2:00 for a very specific reason, is to watch the sermon at 2:30 from a pastor with the Elevation Church. No. Okay. Now, I didn't know anything about the Elevation Church. But so the guy starts with the band playing, and they're fantastic fucking musicians. They're playing the ass out of these religious songs, and cut to the lead man of the afternoon is Pastor what's his nuts. I don't remember his name. So I'm watching, and what he was talking about, I was really kind of digging, and it was totally applicable to certain situations in your life. He was talking about the space between a friendship, between a bad relationship, between bad influences. Sometimes you need to take that break and hang in the space between you and the issue. And then he goes on and on and on to preach about the resurrection, and talks about the women who were forging their way to Galilee, and he met them exactly between the 2 points. So talking about the space between, and then I'm like, I get, you know what? I totally get that as a recovering addict. I get that sometimes you have to pause and just reflect and think about the space between your problems. What can you fill that space with? Some people fill it with religion. Some people fill it with their hobbies. Some people fill it with whatever the fuck they want to fulfill it with. Fine by me. And here's Megan on the phone. And she taps me on the shoulder. She goes, "Look at this. His net worth, $60 million.
Was it Austin?
No, this was down in Georgia.
No, Austin. Freaking Joel.
No, not Joel Austin. No, I know him. I know about him. This was like, he looked Hispanic. So she Googled the Elevation Church, and she's like, "I'm out." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "He was really good till I figured out how much fucking money he was worth." And then she dug a little bit deeper, and his salary for being a pastor is $37,000, but he's worth $60 million from. He's got a little publishing deal. He's written a few books, mostly donations. So my whole thing, and I kind of agree with my wife here, is that I appreciate the message, but you lose me when you're talking from a point of privilege where that space between don't mean dick to you. You have the means and ways to get what you need. And it kind of struck me. It's like, I'm not a super religious guy. I have faith. I've read multiple versions of the Bible, and there's a lot of teachable moments out of everything and out of any version of the Holy Scripture you read, even the Satanic Bible. That's a lot of really good life points in it. And I've read it several times. Doesn't make me a Satanist. I don't believe half of it. The Bible, if the Bible is anything, it's this. It is the most brilliant history book ever written. We can prove that Jesus lived and Jesus died. All that other fluff is just to make people feel better about themselves.
I'm not.
All right.
We can prove that Jesus existed.
Yes, that he lived and that he died. That we can prove. That is proven. Can be proven. Has been proven. Was proven years ago with the Shroud of Turin. Now, everything else in between about the mystical man in the sky, all these other stories. These stories were translated from the original scriptures down to what King John wanted written as the scripture. Can you take those messages and that information seriously when you know that the guy preaching those words will never, ever again have to worry about anything? Does that change the message for you? If you're a religious person, or even if you're a skeptic like me. And it struck me that, that completely changes the message to me. Or that they're preying upon the people who don't have a lot of money, hoping to give them a third of their salary.
Yeah, I mean,
which is a tithe in some churches. A third of your salary must go to the church. So you have people who are living hand to mouth, paycheck to paycheck, giving up a third of their life to feed their kids and their 8 kids and their toothless wife.
Church is a great business.
And that's what Megan said on the ride home. We talked about it. We talked about it more.
It's an exceptional business model.
And I said that to her. I'm like, you have to remember, Megan, it's a church. They run churches like a business. The Catholic Church has been run like a business since the beginning of time. Of course, these guys are going to be worth lots and lots of money because they maybe this is just my opinion. And if I offend anybody who's religious out there, I apologize ahead of time.
Well, I thought that's why we were here.
I half apologize, and the other half of me doesn't apologize because I believe what I believe. You don't have to agree with it. That's all I'm going to say. Religion is a very good tool to teach morals, manners, and discipline to your child.
Oh yeah.
I stand by that. I'll stand by that part of the message. Everything else, the in between, that this happened and that happened and this happened. He came back, and the next day and this day that he came back into life. His mother was a virgin. All these other stories in the Bible are just that, they're stories. It's someone's fable of what happened to Jesus. And it's just they're so unbelievable that people with the weak-willed will just buy it hook, line, and sinker.
Well, people need something to believe.
And that's just it. My version of what my belief is I have faith that there is something out there.
Hey, Cammy.
Hey. What it is, I don't know. Am I going to become a magic angel that floats around in space and time? Blah blah blah.
With no penis.
With no penis. Kevin Smith specifically wrote they had no penises. The angels had no penises in Dogma, or anuses probably.
I should think not. Yes.
But my version is different. I have faith that there is something out there. I didn't hitch my hook to that one wagon, and we talked about it for quite a while actually, and I think maybe it finally dawned on her that sometimes you just gotta turn off what you know about this person and just listen to the message. So some people, like, we were 50-50. To her, she lost the message. To me, I'll still listen to the message, but still know that this guy's worth a hell of a lot more than these people that he's preaching to. I mean, does that have an influence on what they say? If you're like Matt, I don't know how religious you are. Would that change your opinion versus the same story being told by a pastor that you know personally? He lives modestly.
Absolutely. I'm not a religious person. I learned about religion in an unorthodox way, but I'm kind of in so much as what I believe about religion is that, clerics, pastors, priests, whatever, they ought to. We lose audio?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. I'm a big proponent of that whole vow of poverty kind of deal. I just, I've seen Catholic priests, with Mercedes and things like that. For one, I don't think it's a good look. I'm going along with your point. I don't think it works great for whatever you call it, credibility they may or may not have. I don't think it sends a good message.
No, and I agree with you about the vow of poverty, because if you're going to do this for your living, you're doing it because of your faith in God.
Right.
And for the same reason that nuns take vows. They're not doing it. They're not doing it for their social life. They're doing it because they devout themselves to God and His message.
Well, that's the thing, and there's actual biblical quotes about that, and I can't remember the specifics. I'd have to paraphrase, but there's something about you can't serve two masters, one being God and the other one Mammon, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it goes along that line, but you can have rich priests and freaking reverends and everything else. I mean, how the hell does that work?
That happened with the creation of the Catholic Church.
Oh, big time. Look at the old cardinals back in the freaking day. Oh my God. Even now.
Because most wars were funded by the church.
Yeah.
They were the warmongers.
Look at the Crusades.
Crusades were completely religious war. And every war thereafter, even to this day, is fueled by religion, because
absolutely
the churches ran the show. And that's why the separation of church and state became so important, because they knew the church was corrupt. So what do? You put space between you and the corruption. And that's where the whole ideology of church and state came from. And people don't do the research to figure that out.
But that's fine with the way that we have it. But the problem is that you can't separate someone from their religion.
No.
Okay. Religious people use their Bible as a moral compass,
or their Torah.
All right. Religious. Yeah. I'm talking about here in the United States, the way that we're put together. It's basically a God It's basically a god system. The problem is that you can't pull the biblical teachings that have been pushed into somebody out of them when they're writing laws, because their beliefs that are attached to that book come through in their laws. I would really like to see the Bible actually, the Old Testament states that you should never charge interest on a loan. I would like to have somebody bring that up as a bill and push it through, just because I'd like to hear a Republican and say that you can't use the Bible to make law and to write law.
When in fact
it's convenient for them.
Right, when in fact that the laws that they made were based upon the cardinal sins. The whole thing. I see what you're saying. There's so much crossover between religion and law.
Look, the religious values and conservative religious values
are what propels the law.
We experienced it with the overturn of Roe v. Wade.
And we experienced it with the ban in Connecticut on assault weapons and having a magazine capacity and a handgun. It's the way that it's because based upon you shouldn't, your religious belief about
that's
murder.
No,
that is part of it. But most of it is
because it's the left, which is extremely not religious, that's pushing that agenda. It's not based mostly by that that body of people based on what Jesus says and what the Bible says.
This is true.
It's based because their feelings are that it's violence and it's hurting people. No, people are hurting people, and that's a whole other conversation. But that particular argument is about a right, not an ordained thing, nothing ordained. We shouldn't kill anybody, and that's the rule. But nobody was banning rocks or sticks back in the Bible. So
we didn't ban bow and arrows.
We just said, hey, don't kill people, even though you have all the access to do it. Just don't do it. So that is, but the whole church's position and what the Pope says, that motherfucker's a joke.
He's like the monarchy. He's just figurehead.
The Pope is a fucking joke.
All he is the face of the Catholic Church.
Your band needs a
front. So irrelevant.
That's the fucker right there.
Yeah, he's lead singer.
And I really hope I get some fucking hate mail on this one, but you won't.
No,
you will.
No,
it's a great racket. It really is. It's a really great racket to have a product that nobody can see, smell, taste, or touch, and that you just have to believe is gonna work. It's a toaster without a fucking cord, bro. Oh, no. It works. You just have to
believe. Have faith.
But I happen to know the man upstairs. So if you come back every week and
give me some money,
put a little money in the basket, I'll keep telling you how to make the toaster work. And hopefully
little by little,
it'll work for you.
That's the basis of Scientology. You buy your way. You buy your knowledge.
It was the basis of organized religion. It's how the Protestant Reformation got started.
It's the basis of every fucking religion.
Yep. I pay my way into heaven, baby. Religion that motherfucker with Jefferson.
Religion is just religion is just a blanket we put over a mystery to give it shape. It's literally Schrodinger's cat.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus exists and doesn't exist as long as we don't touch the blanket.
Yeah. Don't disturb the blanket. You leave that blanket alone. It's
You know what I mean?
covering.
So that's
It's covering
how
it.
I feel. I feel it's just a shroud over nothing, but it gives the nothing shape.
It gives it something tangible, something you can see, taste, touch.
No, that's the whole thing. It doesn't
Yeah.
give it anything tangible. It just gives it shape visually. You have
Right.
to
But
believe
you,
that what's under the blanket is actually there.
but you can touch that blanket and feel it.
Oh,
So you have more faith because
yeah,
you
I
can
get
touch
you.
it.
Well, that
I can't look underneath, but if I
The
touch it, I
fucking
could.
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Don't mind the man behind the curtain.
Don't go behind the curtain.
Beyond the green door.
Yeah, I
Carolyn
mean,
Swords.
That was a good movie.
That was good.
Trump's
I thought
selling Bibles for crying out loud.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Here we go.
That's some fucking cringy ass move.
Yeah, I read about the Bible that he's pimping. I was like, you got to be shitting me. But okay.
You know, he's literally the Gene Simmons of fucking politics.
If you act now.
Gene Simmons is
you're
a smart dude, though.
Yeah.
No, he's a whore, and not necessarily. He doesn't know when to quit and give up, and know when it's time. He's just a money grubbing whore.
Gene
That's all.
Simmons, or
Yes.
Yeah, it applies to both.
Pick one. Pick either one. It applies to either one. I don't care who you choose. He's just fucking retarded. I'm sorry. He's fucking retarded.
I mean, he has to come up. Did he come up with $175 million?
No, that's why he's selling Bibles and shoes and
didn't one of his companies like take a huge dive in the stock market over the last week?
Oh yeah, and
his tech company.
Yeah, he's horrible. He's just the worst piece of shit. He's just the worst piece of shit. And really, all I see is I find fucking retards supporting him. Just fucking idiots. And that's not to say that I don't find idiots supporting Biden either. I'm just saying there's a lot of idiots on both sides, and there's no real good options for people that actually weigh both sides. So it's
a shit sandwich.
It's a shit sandwich, and they're all out of bread today. So
election related, I read today that RFK is actually taking a lot of votes away from both Biden and Trump by being the third wheel. Based upon some polling.
He's a fucking idiot too. So
I don't. Well, I hope just for the sake of having a third option that he stays in the race the whole time, to see just how, based upon these early polls here, second day of March 2024, come election time, how many electoral votes does he actually steal, or even popular votes does he steal from some certain states? I'm not saying it's gonna happen, Herm.
Popular vote
I would be interested.
Popular vote doesn't count. You all know it. It doesn't matter.
But would he steal at least one electoral college from a couple key states?
Maybe.
I'm very interested to find out, because
you've had third options before, and they mean nothing.
Yeah, right. But he's the outlier.
But they're all outliers. They're the third party. That's the whole point. They're all outliers.
I think
none of them have the pull because none of them have the pull, whether they stay in the whole race or not. And this dude just threw his hat in after everybody ducked out.
Well, I mean, one thing he's got going for him is his last name. There is still a segment of people out there who love Kennedy, think he was the best president ever.
Yeah, but they're gonna die soon.
Hopefully they don't die before November or whatever the fuck it is.
Dying soon is a real good point in the Kennedy situation.
They're all dying soon. They're all 80, 90 years old.
Yeah, you never know. I mean,
no,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying it ain't happening.
Nothing. Not a number that matters. We had Jill Stein, who had massive fucking support. Nothing.
That sucks too. That sucks for your state.
Yeah, speaking of your state,
that was no, it's not for me. I'm like that was Jill Stein. She was a presidential candidate.
I thought she was from there.
I don't know where she's from.
Okay, that's what I meant.
But we had that option, and there was great support. It doesn't. The system's not designed that way, and that's the problem. The
You were going to
system's
say something, Matt?
No, I was curious about what was going on with Bobert.
I don't know.
She's trying to get. She's waiting to see what happens with Jack. What is it, Jack Reed or whatever his name is?
Yeah.
Pulls out, and she's trying to switch over to District 4 because
I knew she was trying to switch.
There's way more MAGA fucks over there.
The carpetbagger situation.
So
This should prove interesting.
So we'll see, but I mean, she can do whatever she wants to. Go to fucking 4, because then you don't represent my ass.
Yeah. What was I going to say? It was election related. It escaped me, but yeah, it's Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh, God,
she's insane.
How she could have said last week and not been nauseated by saying that it was done on purpose on the bridge. I mean, come on. Don't say that without just don't say that without any fucking facts. I could see saying it after you had a week to gather some facts, but man, it's too soon, man. Too fresh. Shut your fucking mouth. People just want to know if they made it or if they can recover a fucking body at this point. She is just so. How does she keep getting elected? She's fucking crazy. Crazy. She has good points, and then she ruins it by saying something like that.
It's all the same people that voted for Trump in 2016. That's why. That's mad, because they want us to be mad at each other, and that's how it works. As long as everybody's mad at each other, they're going to pick whoever they can, because fuck the other side, and nobody's actually picking for their own side, for themselves side. It's just easier to align and to be honest, you need to remove the Democrat and Republican designation on every ballot.
Yep.
Go with
they need to remove the one party lever.
I think so. I think that
because people go in and don't even care, and now you've got to pick. You can't just go in and pick. You have to pick. Now you can still go in and pick red or blue, but the one party lever is just people walk in and click it and leave. Click.
Hey, Burns.
Hey, man, so the one party poll needs to just go away.
Yep.
And
well, that's why I like.
That's easy. They need to stop, and they need to stop putting a D or an R on the form. It just needs to be lists of names, because people also use the D or the R to vote easy and quick. D, done.
Yeah.
If you don't know who is what party, then you have to pay attention to whose names, and you have to pay attention to policy.
We miss you too, Burns. I hope things are going as well as they can down in Florida right now at 7:24. Excuse me. I'm a little verklempt.
The system needs a revamp. But
I've been saying that for years. I've been blowing that whistle forever.
The system needs a revamp, but the party system we have doesn't want to revamp, because it changes the game, and they don't know how to play it anymore. They've all figured out how to play this fucking game.
Well, if you go changing the rules, it's going to fuck up their game.
And it's really, it has grown to basically the illusion of freedom of choice.
Right. When there really is no freedom of choice. I mean, you're stuck with it with who you're stuck with.
Welcome to the machine.
Yeah, crank them out. But I am still interested in to see if our RFK is going to pull any electoral votes away from either of them. Like, I tend to agree with Herm that it's probably not going to happen, but it would be interesting if it did, and what states they were. Yeah. Crazy. And I like it. I don't like order. You need a little chaos every day. And Lord knows today was full of chaos. For me, anyway.
Yeah, I mean the whole system is just the system's just horrible. There are no real good choices. I don't have a candidate. I don't have a candidate that I'm confident in.
No, it's tough because I
don't put my eggs all in one basket. So both sides of the coin have things I like about them, and there's really nobody in that middle. And it's a forced choice.
Yeah,
and I won't make a forced choice.
And I'm right there with you because anybody who I would think to put on the party, a party ticket, I think parties are just stupid.
It's just bullshit.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see a large drop in voter numbers this year.
Yeah, this ain't going to be a rock the vote situation.
No, this is good. It's both the issues, not the party or personal biases. That's exactly what we're talking about, Chris. It's you have to listen to your people and vote with what your people want. And and that because it starts down here where the House of Representatives works its right up through the Senate and Congress to the president. I'm a dork. I watch the C-SPAN congressional hearings and shit like that, and I see these congressmen and senators just tearing each other fucking apart. And there's a couple of them who I really, really like. One of which is Ted Cruz. He's not afraid to fucking go out there like a bear. Kennedy from Louisiana. I would love to see him run as president. I think he would have a hell of a shot. He's a good old-fashioned Southern boy. He knows boy from girl. He loves his guns. And I think that if you're going Republican, that would be the guy I'd vote for. I mean,
yes, those aren't the only two issues I'm concerned with.
No, I'm just throwing it out there. It's just that he seemed. These are guys I feel that aren't afraid to listen, and fight for what would be correct for the country to do. And we all know as well as anybody else that they don't go in there to better the country. They go in there to put on a smoke and mirror show and make you think that things are going okay, and just by accident shit does go the right way. Because inflation and deflation is a natural cycle. There's no magic to it. It happens. It just happens over time, or it happens all at once. And politics does play into that, but it's a cycle. If you took politics out of it, it would happen anyway.
Take care, buddy.
All right. Love you guys. Love you too. It's a pattern. It's gonna repeat. And they go in it with their personal interests, what they want to pass or not pass. I mean, Biden, when he's a completely different person than he was 20 years ago, based upon what he had said then versus how he's acting now. And I get it. You're going to change your perspective on things based upon your party line and who is barking the loudest in your ear. That's what presidents do. And when you go in there with the agenda from what I've seen over the last 4 years, to completely change the way America thinks about issues that really weren't an issue 20 years ago, like gender and diversity and equality. You're not the same Joe Biden you were 25 years ago, man. You have completely changed the way America thinks. And the unfortunate part is that it's a smaller percentage than the people who actually live on the planet, and they're not delusional, the numbers are growing. And in 15 years' time, I'm scared. I'm scared for what's going to happen in the next 10, 15 years. Because if this tide doesn't turn, I don't give a fuck who you put in office. We got another 4 years with Biden. I wish, I hope, and I pray that she would not run as vice president again. But you know what's going to happen, because he's not going to make a decision and have a set of balls and say, no, I don't want you. I want someone else. Because he doesn't run the show. He's not running the show. He's not running the country. The country's being run by committee, and she's just the face to fill the space. That's all I got to say about that right now.
All right.
I mean, I'm scared, and I think the two of you are a little bit scared too. And Chris, I'm Burns. I'm sure you would be afraid too of what.
It doesn't really faze me at this point.
I ain't scared of shit.
I'm not happy about it, but
all right. Let's not say not scared. Let's just say concerned about just how much the landscape could stand to change in the next 10 to 15 years.
Well, I mean, if you look at what's happening in Scotland right now, that shit. I don't know if you follow that at all. That shit's crazy.
I'm not familiar with what's going on in Scotland right now.
They're enacting gender legislation similar to like the Holocaust deniers, where if this thing goes through, freaking misgendering somebody could be up to 7 years in prison.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, I started reading about it about 2 weeks ago. It's been interesting.
That's the mentality I'm talking about, where it's all about the fees and not the facts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry I hurt your feelings, but I'm not. Okay, I'm not. And people say that you can be mean. I'm like, it's not mean. It's telling the truth. And if if you interpret my version of telling you the truth as being mean, that's on you, not me. I deliver it in a very nice way. I don't yell, scream, bang my fists. I just talk. And I'm sorry if that hurt your feelings, sweetheart, but it's the truth.
It's just one of the reasons I'm glad I'm closer to the finish line than the starting line.
Same, because I wouldn't want to be me at 22 now.
No.
As I think about it, the job I have now, I started when I was 22 years old and was there for 4 years. Oof. Now, I wouldn't know how to navigate because I didn't. I would hope and pray that my.
Yes, you would.
I would hope and pray that
because you would have been raised.
You would have been raised in it
40 years later, and you would have had, and that is your point, and your 0 point is from there forward. You are living as a 22-year-old now with the knowledge you have being born in 72.
True.
And all the experience from the 30 years prior to that. You would totally know how to navigate. And that's the point. It's the old people that don't know how to navigate. Everybody else is not as big a deal.
Well, I heard watching YouTube the other night, and it was John McEnroe paying one of the Williams sisters a comment. He said the best women's tennis player on the planet, and well, of course, the woman on the panel had to say, "Well, why'd you have to say women's tennis player?" And he looked her dead in the eye and said, "Because she's not the greatest tennis player in the world. There are differences between these sports, the men's versus women's." He said, "You remember what Title IX was all about?"
Mm.
And he got fucking filleted for saying the truth. The whole reason behind Title IX was that they had a fair and equitable playing ground for them.
Well,
versus men.
Title IX happened because Title IX happened not more for an equal field for them. Title IX happened because the schools were putting all kinds of money and all kinds of energy into boys' sports, and there was 2 or 3 sports total in schools.
Right.
And the problem was then what you had girls trying out for the boys' teams, and they were playing, but the problem is they had to play with the boys. The start of Title 19 was Tammy Maida. Tammy Maida was instrumental in getting Title 19 started and going and passed because she played as a quarterback on a boys' football team.
Okay.
That's really where Title 19 came from. It's because there weren't, and that's where it was. She wanted to play football, but there wasn't a girls' team. So
what I said was kind of right.
kinda. There just wasn't. No, it was chauvinistically, there
Right.
wasn't a girls' team.
Right.
When you created their own league, then then they were all equal, but it
Mhm.
wasn't done. It was more done for sexism issues than because the parents of the people did it like a girl playing quarterback, and they've got her hands tucked up under her son's nutsack for an hour or two the whole game. It was very sexist, and
I
she
think there's too
also
much for
wanted
that.
to. So between her with Tammy Maida with the equal rights thing and the people that didn't want the integrated sports, that's where Title 19 came about. But basically, once they created equal opportunity for sports for girls, then they had their own equal playing field because it was all girls.
Right.
But yeah, like that was it. It was there were very little sports for girls.
Yes, like swimming. Then
Like the rule here at the college is any team, any males, any sport that has a male team has to have a female team.
right, but it's reverse Uno. Like we tried getting a men's volleyball team at Fish my entire time there, and they said nope. And we said why?
Hold on.
We want to play volleyball, and there's other schools in the district who want to play volleyball, even if it's a small class. We'll be class double S. It doesn't matter. We want to play volleyball.
It usually comes down to budget. That's why.
Right.
Comes down to budget.
Basically, what they said. What don't you want? What don't you want in over the next course of your high school career? Do you not want soccer? Do you not want golf? Do you not want this? And we get the point, but how about we self-fund and how about we self-fund? And we were ready to do fucking raise money back in the day, the old-fashioned way, knock door to door. But it sucks, and every year school budgets get less and less and less. And I can understand it's an inconvenience to make a third option if they want to compete intramurally together as like a trans unit. Fine,
yes,
I got no problem with that. But I understand the inconvenience of how that would work practically, because not only at the high school level, you're talking at the amateur, pro, and semi-pro level. They're all over. It's top to bottom.
Hold on, guys.
You got girls in high school, guys in high school swimming with the girls, and they're beating the fucking shit out of them. It's not fair.
No, I hear you. Absolutely.
But I smell dinner. I think it's burgers tonight.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, burgers and sweet potato fries.
That does sound nice.
I love sweet potato fries. They got to be done right though. They got to be just a little bit crispy, because if you do it the wrong way, they're all limp and ugh. Nobody wants limp. I don't. I'm not a fan of limp. Another fun fact you learned tonight on Dysfunction Junction.
Excellent.
Voice all your complaints to Sausage Gravy.
That's right. All right, boys and girls.
SausageGravy@gmail.com.
That's going to do it for us for this week. We will be back next week, like always.
Hopefully with
a full staff.
Hopefully with 3, no matter who it be.
And until then, everybody take it easy, and we'll talk to y'all later.
We'll come up with something.
Judgment falls upon you at first light. I'm the hand of God. I'm the dark Messiah. I'm the vengeful one. In the blackest moment of a dying world, what have you become?
Oh.
All right. So here's the final word this week. Everybody just manifest good vibes. to our buddy Chris. All
Yes.
right, and
Yes.
we will see everybody next week.
Bye.